one of our community members just sent me a message in our chat and said, Paul, are we celebrating? In $1, Ark ETF will hit a 5-year low. If you look at 5 years ago, October of 2017, Ark was at $34 and change. It has gone up to 160 and back down again. Now, why do I bring this up? Because at this point right here, go look at all the comments on my videos that I made of Ark ETF around this time. Paul, you don't get it. You're stupid. Why would you even think to compare yourself to Cathie Wood? She has a hedge fund. She doesn't have a hedge fund, but people were saying she has a hedge fund. You have a YouTube channel. And I said, listen, guys, valuation is valuation. Her investments are all purely speculative. At this point, of her top 20 holdings, only 3 were profitable. And of those 3 that are profitable, they weren't even reasonable in terms of the price to buy them at. Every single one of her stocks at this point, I wouldn't have paid the price for them. In fact, I probably called for them to all fall 70, 80, 90%.
Yep.
And look what's happening. And guys, I don't think the bloodbath's over. But I bring this up because everyone out there, and I'm hoping you're different because you're watching this channel, everyone out there will sit there and focus on this as the reason why somebody's good and this for why somebody's bad. So somebody might sit there and say, well, Paul, aren't you doing that right now by saying Cathie Wood is bad? I haven't looked at her holdings recently. I have no idea. However, I will say this. When I saw this and I hear about her investing process, my guess is it's probably pretty bad here too. Especially considering, Mo, didn't you tell me recently that she still has inflows?
Yeah, she still has inflows. So I like to look at the month to month and see where the inflows, outflows are going. It's still about 50-50.
So she's still getting positive inflows into her fund. That tells me we're not close to done yet. That tells me that if people still believe her process, which is overpaying, and she literally said about Warren Buffett and Michael Burry, they don't get disruption. I don't get it either because she's willing to pay any price whatsoever to get any stock as long as they're disruptive. It doesn't work that way. And that's why I'm bringing this up. When you're talking and looking at somebody and manage money, the most important thing you need to do, go look at how they did over a complete bull and bear cycle. Don't show me how they did during a complete euphoric bull market. Anybody can make money. The caddy at a country club who was 18 years old was making money on Palantir, Tesla, and Bitcoin when I saw him in June of last year, telling me I didn't get it. I'm sure his money is down 70 or 80% right now at least, because two of those investments, Bitcoin and Palantir, are both down 70+%. So I look at it saying, this is what I mean by understanding value and understanding performance. You want to understand the process. We believe successful investing involves 3 things: the right mentality, the right emotion, and the right process. But the 2 most important are emotion and mentality. Why? Because when the stock is going against you, you have to have the ability to say, my assumptions are still the same. The market is wrong about this. And very well could be the case with Ark right now. That could be the case right now. Maybe the market's wrong about them. Maybe these stocks are undervalued. But let's look at our top 20 holdings. Mo, Mo's laughing already, by the way.
So here's her top 20. Zoom, Tesla, Roku, Exact Science, Intellia.
Okay, let's pick the top 3. I'll start with, while you talk about it, I will do my valuation on Tesla.
Okay, you go for it. So I am going to pull up the top 3. I'm going to pull up Tesla right here. Guys, 52-week high, 414.50, current price 223. What is Zoom? 52-week high, $289, current price $73. And a lot of these, I'm still looking at them saying they're still not in the range for me to buy. Roku. I remember on the morning show, there was a person that just berated me that I don't understand Roku. And this was when it was around $350 a share. Currently, we're sitting at $50. What you said 17 out of our top 20 at one point. I remember doing this video, did not make money. And you're still seeing these Block, Coinbase, CRISPR Therapeutics, Unipath. I still think they have a long, long way to go.
So let's look at analyst estimates for Tesla in terms of revenue growth. For the next 5 years in our software, the analysts that are following it are looking for the company to go from $85 billion in revenue this year to $248 billion. That's high. That's about 30% a year. Let's extrapolate that out to 10 years and do 32.5%. And in terms of profit margin, their profit margin isn't going to go up that much. And the average car company is like 5 or 6%. I'm assuming 4, 6, and 8%. I'm assuming 8% on the high side. Even with these high assumptions, 32.5%, which takes Tesla to $1.1 trillion in revenue.
My God.
$1.1 trillion in revenue.
Revenue, not valuation.
Not valuation, revenue. When right now, the biggest company in the world, I think, is Amazon or Walmart. They do $500 billion. I still don't have it on the high side anywhere close. It still has to drop 30, 40% to get to my highest value. My low and middle, which, by the way, guys, keep in mind, what has to happen in the next 10 years flawlessly to make that work?
Yeah.
And Cathie Wood was buying at $350, $400, $300 a share.
Right. Amazon does $486 billion in revenue, and they literally sell everything.
Yes. And so to sell $1 trillion in cars, let's say their average car is $50,000. That's 21.5 million cars a year. The current number one company, I believe, is Toyota. The entire new car market in the world is like 60 or 70 million cars a year. This would be 1/3 of every car out there being sold in the entire world by Tesla. Is it possible? Sure. Is it probable? With the average price of $50,000? Actually, you know what? In 10 years, the actual price will be higher. I'm wrong on that one. So I do have to make that correction. Let's say the average price is $75,000 a year, a car. It's still 14.5 million cars a year.
Yeah. And now we're going to have people come in and say, well, what about their solar? What about their robots? Sure, that can all contribute, but I still don't see a situation where that happens.
And it's still, oh, and by the way, maybe that justifies today's price, but you're paying today's, I just don't understand this. It could very well work out. It could all very well work out. But my guess is if you have 100 Teslas, 100 companies that fit the same parameters as Tesla, it's not going to work out in overwhelming amount of time. And that's the problem. The upside isn't worth it to be wrong on that kind of magnitude. The next company, Zoom. Now, Zoom's a company that's really faltered, hasn't it?
Oh my gosh. The valuation that they were putting on Zoom back during COVID was that we would just knock down every office building in America and stay at home and just keep working on Zoom forever.
Now look at this. Here's the quarterly revenue for Zoom. During COVID, 328, 663, 777, 882, 956, 1.02, 1.05, 1.07, 1.07, 1.01. Where's revenue gone? Like that. Yep. But when you're paying huge numbers for the company based on their previous track record, you had to ask the question, well, how much was it driven? I'm sure if you go look at our videos on Zoom, we've done over 1,800 videos. Go watch our videos on Tesla and Zoom back a year ago. We're probably saying very consistent things what we're saying now. And we were acknowledging like, well, wait, what happens when we all go back to the office?
Mm-hmm. And not only that, Apple has come into the game of this. They're going to be having with their new software that's coming out for their computers. You're going to be able to share PDF documents and files and everything on there. Apple has billions and billions of devices in people's hands. That's the problem. So with all of this, just take that out. You forgot all about the competition. Google got better. Microsoft Teams got better, et cetera.
Yeah. And look at Zoom. They did $4.3 billion in the last 12 months. Analyst estimates for this entire full year, 4.2. So actually a little bit lower than they did in the last 12 months. Now they still have growth, but look, analysts are on the high side, 6 to 8%, 6 to 9% in growth per year from here on revenue. Yeah. It's no longer the disruption story that Cathie Wood banked on. No, is it a great company? It very well could be. I love using Zoom. I have a membership that I pay for on Zoom.
Great product.
I like using Zoom. But at the end of the day, I'm not willing to overpay for something that I just think is really neat. Because every disruptive company in the past, going back 100 years, 150 years, guess what? They eventually stopped being disruptive.
Yep.
So be smart. Understand that every investment is the present value of all future cash flow. And your job is to sit there and understand how that cash flow is made, make reasonable assumptions, and buy based on some sort of discount from margin of safety. This was a very important video, but you really need to watch the next video where you follow Mo and I in our process of finding stocks we want to own at the prices we want to own them at. Thank you very much for your time. As the market falls, one of the most common questions I get is, what stocks should I be buying as the market falls? Great question. We're going to get into it right now by looking at our process for how we buy stocks.